Hello everyone, this is John Pettiford from BrandU101.com, and I'm here today to talk to you about logos. What's the difference between a logo and a brand? I get that question a lot, being a branding company. To put it short, your brand is your experience that you have with your customers. It's what they experience when they deal with you on a business level. Your logo is simply a symbol to represent that experience. If you're a car wash service and you're known for, putting a piece of candy on the seats after you're done washing the car, that would be considered a part of your brand experience. As far as the importance of a logo, it really depends on what industry you're in. Most industries will benefit tremendously from having a good quality logo, which is why so many companies actually have them. There are exceptions. There are rare brands such as maybe a publicist or a consultant where the experience that you have with them is based more on things like your social interactions and maybe their affiliations. But it can help on things like letterhead and step and repeat banners for someone in that field. But for the most part, a logo is almost essential for most types of businesses. So if you're going to start a new business, I highly recommend getting a logo designed as your first step in starting that business. All right, next question is, how much should I pay? This has a lot of different factors. For one, you want to look at the affiliation of the designer. For instance, if you have a high quality designer, if you're a big company, a lot of times they want to work with big name designers. The reason they do that is because working with these types of firms or designers will get them a lot of free press and get them published and basically get the word out that this company is being launched. Most people who are starting small businesses, that's not such a big deal. What you want to focus on is this next set of skills. One is the skill of the designer and their process. Does their portfolio make you say, wow, nice, or does it just make you say they're okay? That's an important thing to look at because that's exactly what your customers are going to say about your logo once they're done with it. Do you want them to just say, oh, that's okay? Do you want it to be something that is easily forgettable? Or do you want it to be something that they say, wow, this really represents what I'm into? A lot of times a good logo can represent a thought and an idea using symbolism and colors, and just different tactics that will allow people to immediately see your logo and know what your company's about, or at least have a good idea. Another thing to focus on is their technical skill. When it comes to designing a logo, you technically want to know color psychology. Does your designer understand color psychology? The color green, the color blue, the color red, they all have different effects subconsciously on us when we see them. So for instance, when we're hungry, we like to see red. We'll see, Wendy's, McDonald's. Those actual colors correspond to hunger and eating. So you'll see a lot of different fast food chains with red as part of their logo. Chick-fil-A. You can probably name a ton of them, but that particular color, it's not the only thing it means, but it does have a psychology on us. So you want your graphic designer to know about these things before they start designing a logo for you. Do they understand symbolism and nuance? This is something that is very underestimated when people are shopping for logos. You actually want to have a designer who understands symbolism and nuance, meaning symbolism, if they put a shape in your logo, it has to be for a reason. Every really well thought out logo has shapes and curves and angles that really make a difference on the thought process you have when you see the logo. So you want your graphic designer to understand that. You also want them to understand nuance. What I mean by that is when someone sees your logo, say for instance, if you're a brand for women, which has a very light touch. Say you're a massage parlor or a hair spa, and you want to be known for your gentle touch. Typically, the nuance in designing a logo for a company like that will be maybe a script lettering, something that looks soft, something that looks dainty, feminine, and you want to have a designer that understands those things. On the flip side, if you have a very bold, vibrant brand, such as a sports brand, a lot of times you want to have bold, vibrant colors and fonts in your logo design. So, if you look at Nike, the way Nike looks compared to, Victoria's Secret, those brands are going to look a lot different as far as the font choices. So you want a designer that understands the nuances of choosing what type of font to use in your logo, if you use any words at all. You want a designer that has a good process. For instance, brandyou101.com, what we've done is we send out a questionnaire to our clients. And what this questionnaire does is it allows us to have a good idea of exactly what the customer has in their head. So basically, when you're thinking about your logo, a lot of times people who are not in the industry, who are just starting a business, they have an idea of how they want their business to look. They have an idea of how they want it to feel. And we ask those type of questions on our questionnaire to allow us to use those color psychologies, those font choices. It allows us to use those things to create the perfect logo for the customer as quickly as possible. Now, you can take a million stabs at creating a logo, but really the key is to have it done in a fairly efficient manner. A lot of our customers, for instance, will be done within a week. But I've seen people go through the logo process for a year or more, which really can hold you up if you're trying to launch your brand. So it's something to consider. The process is very important when choosing a designer. Another thing to consider is how many options do you get? Do you get any options? Some designers will design for you and they just want to do it their way. They don't. They take a little feedback from you and they just make the logo based on what they want. That's more of an artist, and sometimes that's welcome if someone that artist fits your demographic or what you're shooting for. But a lot of times you want to have some options. So what brandyou101.com does is we offer 3 to 4 options initially. And the reason we don't have to offer a ton of different options is because that questionnaire that we put together allows us to really narrow down what you're looking for. So we're usually able to get it pretty close, if not completely, within that first 3 or 4 drafts. So you want to have some options, and then we also offer unlimited tweaks. So you want to be able to tweak those logos, those options, and make adjustments to it. We offer unlimited because, again, we get so close after that questionnaire that typically, we might have to tweak it once or twice, and it's good to go. Sometimes people have a hard time choosing out of the first 3 or 4 because they're all so close to what they're looking for. So you want to be able to adjust the logo without being charged additional hourly fees if possible. Also, you want to look at the artist or the designer's track record and portfolio. If major brands trust them, that's usually a good sign. I mean, you can find really talented people that don't have a lot of big brands that have worked with them before, and you can catch someone on their way up. That's always a good thing to do, if you can find it. But a lot of times, you're going to be able to be a lot more efficient by finding someone who has a great track record and who's worked with great companies, or at least companies that you respect in similar fields. The main thing is you want to get your logo right the first time. And the reason you want to do that is because you put a lot of time and money into launching your brand. So if it's a product line, say if you're designing headphones, you have to make, 100, 1,000, 10,000 of these headphones with this logo on it. That's a significant investment. If that logo is not something you're 100% happy with, then that's going to cost you a lot of money. And if it's something that's not going to sell because it doesn't resonate with customers, and believe it or not, your logo can make or break a product sometimes, you want to make sure you're not losing money based on trying to go the cheap route and designing a logo and losing out in the long run. With that said, I'd like to encourage everyone to basically go out there and use your intuition. Use your gut, follow your gut. Find an artist whose work speaks to you or a designer whose work speaks to you, who you have confidence in immediately upon seeing. If you have questions about someone and you're not really sure they can get it done, it's usually a good idea to steer away from them. While people with the better portfolios or artists and firms with the better portfolios might cost a little more, again, in the long run, it's really going to benefit you to use someone professional who has a good track record, who has basically a great portfolio that really speaks to your heart, and who is known to be timely. So, look for things like ratings and look for reviews, and just make sure the company or the firm or the person that you're using is transparent, and that they're not someone who's going to kind of cut and run when it comes to your logo. I've corrected plenty of mistakes from other designers. People have brought me logos that were incomplete, that the designer just gave up on. That's another thing you have to look at, is reliability. And a lot of times you can get a good idea of someone's reliability based on how active they are on social media, on their own website. If they have a website that doesn't look maintained, more than likely they're probably not going to get back to you in a timely fashion or maintain the work that they have with you. So those are all things to look at. But with that said, guys, I just wanted to give you this little bit of information, and we'll be adding more information about branding services that we offer, but also we just want to help small businesses make the best choices, whether it's us or not. So we're going to continue to do these videos for you guys and put them out and just inform people and educate people on making better choices on starting their small business. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below or contact us at brandyou101.com. We have a contact form there. You can email us, or you can leave comments if you're watching this on YouTube. All right, have a great day, and thanks for tuning in.